gentlemen. Speaking of football, let's get to some football here.
Yeah.
Adam Schefter was on with our neighbors up north, ESPN Milwaukee, talking a little bit about the rookie contract situations. And it's a curious situation because not one, but two Chicago Bears first-round picks have yet to sign their deals. This was Adam Schefter talking about that earlier today.
They have made it such that these rookie deals are formalities. But Caleb Williams really wants to kind of do his own thing, break the system, try to do things that are atypical. And so that wouldn't surprise me, if his situation lingered a little bit longer than most of these rookie situations that should be, in this day and age, just formalities. Rome Odunze, that'll get done. And it used to be, the Bears did change their front office quite a bit, but the Bears would have their draft picks on the week after the draft. And now these guys are unsigned, but it won't be long, I would imagine, before they have their deals done.
Oh, well, wait a minute. Do you mind if I take my first time
Absolutely.
out of the half? Can you replay?
You want a 10 or you want a 20? You want to turn it into a full?
Well, a 20 because I want him to play the first 20 seconds again, just about Caleb Williams. Play that again.
They have made it such that these rookie deals are formalities. But Caleb Williams really wants to kind of do his own thing, break the system, try to do things that are atypical. And
Boom.
so
That's enough. Okay, so wait a minute. First, he's saying he wants to do all these things, but it'll get done. Now, yours truly reported months ago before he was drafted that there was chatter out there that exactly what Schefter's saying. So either Schefter and I heard from bad sourcing or, I'm saying the same bad source, or there's some truth to it. What does that exactly mean? He wants to do things atypical and break the system.
I would
because
ask.
it's exactly what I reported before they drafted.
There's
that
no
he
way.
wanted to challenge the rookie contract.
There's
process.
no way to break the system. It's been collectively bargained.
Then what does he mean?
I don't know. I don't know. There's only so much that the Bears can do. The only thing they can do, I believe, is there can be some adjustments to the offset language about injuries and stuff. But every position is slotted. Like I don't know what it is that he can do.
Well, that's an interesting way. And Schefter teases us with that, and then says, "But he'll sign." So does he just want to rock the boat?
Wrong, Miller?
Does he want to rock the boat and then sign?
So it's the offset language. So if, for example, if for some reason things went really, really bad and the Bears released Caleb Williams before his rookie contract ended, he couldn't. Would he be allowed to double dip if he signed a new deal with a new team? I can't see any. I don't even know how it would work, where he would be released by the Bears and then signed by another team before his rookie contract expires.
And that's the only thing he could have adjusted. He can't walk into the building and demand more money than is slotted
I
for the first
understand
overall selection.
So that's what he's quibbling over, a release, a situation where he's released. All I'm saying is, why is that even a report? If he's going to sign, why is that even a thing to bring up?
I think. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, here's what I ask you guys is this more of a players issue or a Bears issue, given that it's not just one, but it's both of their first-round picks?
I don't think it's going to be a problem for anybody. I don't think it's going to be an issue. I
wish Schefter's report was 10 seconds long. That's what it should have been if it's not going to be an issue.
Here's the other issue as well. Like, I've gotten, there was concern months and months ago. Boy, Caleb Williams does things differently. Caleb Williams has been such a breath of fresh air with how he's handled things. He is a willing participant with the media. Mm-hmm. He has wanted to get integrated into this community and become acclimated to his surroundings as quickly as I've ever seen from a young sports, individual.
Yeah.
So, the last thing I would expect from Caleb Williams is that he's going to be difficult with getting a contract signed and getting into camp on time. He is truly a guy and listen, I've never met him, but just my impression of him, the last thing he wants to do is be a distraction in any way, shape, or form. He wants to be there on time. He wants to get things rolling.
So here's one of the best
see how this
in the
is gonna be a
business,
problem.
calling him atypical, calling him he wants to challenge things, whatever adjectives he used.
I love Shefty, and I don't know. Maybe there's an angle that I'm not recognizing right now, but there's really he has no power to do that.
Right.
It has been collectively bargained the current setup for all of the rookie contracts, and it's in the in the wake of the last. Can you name the last first overall pick that was able to negotiate a contract that did not have any type of slotting mechanism attached to it?
No,
Quarterback.
Sam Bradford.
Correct.
Okay.
And that was when then collectively the Players Association said, hey, when we bargain next, we're getting rid of this crap. Because there's no reason for Sam Bradford, who's never taken a snap in the National Football League, to take home $60 million when I've got a 10-year vet who's got an accomplished career with several Pro Bowls under his belt, isn't making anything close.
Right.
So it was a change that the league agreed to with the players. And so, I mean, it sounds diabolical.
Right,
and
sounds a little ominous.
Yeah, it sounds
a little
ominous. Better
ominous.
word than diabolical. So, yeah. But there's really nothing other than, as Meller described, the offset language in his contract that he could.
The last time this was an issue for anybody in the NFL was I think
Roquan
Roquan Smith. And he was some of the issues with the fining by the NFL.
It was injury, and it was for getting paid if he had an injury that the
Wasn't
Bears
it
couldn't get out from
penalties,
it.
like fines off of penalties too?
That as well, yes. He didn't want to be held accountable for any penalty or for any fines that were associated with like illegal hits and
or
stuff
if you
like
were
that.
suspended for some reason.
Yeah, so it was really kind of minor stuff. I don't believe. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't believe that this will be an issue.
I mean, I tend to agree with you. It's just okay, that's a weird way to put it, though.
I'm with you
for
on that
Schefter.
front,
It's just
yeah.
a weird way to put it. What else?
It's when especially when you say when Schefter says break the system,
right. And I just want
the
to say
rules are in place. He can't break the
I
system.
have one NFL source, and I heard similar things.
Oh, that's bad journalism,
But this
though,
was
Jess.
months
You need
ago.
two sources. Two sources if you want to ride
well,
with
that's
that.
why
Come on.
Not these days.
I didn't bring it up until Schefter just said it. So
Again,
who
I
knows?
don't know. This was one of the reasons why there was talk that he may not come out because he doesn't
Right.
want to be. What he may do is
the thing I had heard that he didn't like the 4-year. What is it? The automatic fifth year kicks
It's a
in,
fifth-year
right?
option,
He didn't like that. That's
or
what I
that
heard.
he was going to. What was it? That he was going to file a.
He wanted a piece of ownership, which is
Yeah.
also
That's
against the
That's
rules in the
against the rules.
CBA.
That was a good one.
None of it's allowed.
Yeah,
None of it is.
That's a good one. All right, what else you got, Tyler?
All right, we mentioned a little bit earlier that Matt Eberflus is the betting favorite over at Circa for Coach of the Year. He is followed by Jim Harbaugh, Dave Canales, and Raheem Morris in that regard. Matt Eberflus, if he wins this many games,
Time out.
will
Time
be
out.
the coach
Let
of
me
the
ask
year.
you. Let me ask you a real quick question. Dave Canales is at Carolina.
He is, yes.
How on God's green earth is he going to?
Well, that's the
Because
thing
there's
is,
no expectations.
right. And if they somehow win, and it's not like the division is
9
great, but
games.
what if he unlocks Bryce Young and turns him into a good quarterback? You're going to win Coach of the Year if you do that.
That team is so bad. They thought that they could win 8 or 9 games.
No, but
That's
exactly.
why he would win Coach of the Year.
But my point is I would think it's so unlikely that his odds wouldn't be in the top 5.
Yeah, I
That's
agree
all
with
I'm saying.
Tom. I
That's
agree
all
with
I'm
Tom.
saying. I'm
I
sorry,
think
what
Tyler
was the
though
question?
told you the division being so bad gives them a pathway
Okay.
to that.
All right,
wins.
that's fair. So what was the? Do I believe that?
Yeah, how many wins would lock up a Coach of the Year for Matt Eberflus?
Lock up. I mean, let's start with 12. Okay, that would lock it up.
Miller's in there with a straight face going, and it's only going to be 12 because they're going to sit their starters the last 2 games.
So,
I mean, I-
basically, we should be betting Eberflus right now.
No, you asked me what the number
No, I'm
would
with
lock
you.
it
The
up.
Bears are winning 15 games this year.
Oh, right. Because I don't think 10 locks it up. You can't say that.
No,
think it
because
might.
well,
No,
what if
10
the
and
Chargers
7.
win 11?
Exactly.
I don't think that I know that Jim Harbaugh is going to be in the running for this if the Chargers are good, but I think Jim Harbaugh is too big of a name to win Coach of the Year. He's
What?
Yes.
Think
Think about the best names. Think
That
about
is the opposite of thinking.
But this is not an award that comes down to Andy Reid has virtually no chance of winning this unless the Chiefs
That's
go
fair.
17-0.
That's true.
That's because he's got the best quarterback. and they're
Sean
established.
McVay has a almost 0% chance of winning this award. Kyle
That's fair.
Shanahan has an
That's
almost 0% chance of winning this award.
I think the only reason why I will differ with you is
Because they have good teams, Tyler.
Well,
Harbaugh doesn't.
not just that, but Jim hasn't been in the NFL in 15
Yeah,
years.
that
but
too.
he's literally coming off of a championship.
Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
It does matter.
I don't think 7 and 10 to 10 and 7 locks up the award. No, come on.
If he gets the Bears into the playoffs, it will be his award to lose.
Playoffs will help, but 10 and 7 without playoffs, not necessarily. No way.
It's very tough to go 10 and 7 and not make the playoffs nowadays.
I'm just giving
I
you an
would say
example,
if he
though.
wins 10 games, does he have a very good chance? Absolutely. But to lock it up,
What about 11?
yes, and then I will go.
Lock it up.
Lock it up.
You can lock that up because you won't go 11 and 5 or 11 and 6 and not get in the postseason.
You lock it up.
Yeah.
Lock it up.
All right.
Especially if they, if they win 11 games and win the division.
Yeah, 11 games probably wins you the division.
By the way, we're all nuts. I mean, they're probably going to win like 8 or 9. I mean, let's face it.
They're just fighting. We're looking at
You sound like a baseball reporter right now who doesn't cover the NFL.
Fish on water here.
Hey, I just backed up Schefter's reporting, so watch it over there.
All right. DeMar DeRozan's time with the Chicago Bulls is over after he agreed to a sign and trade to go to the Sacramento Kings over the weekend. While he did not have a long tenure in Chicago, he certainly had a memorable one with some of the amazing buzzer beaters and dominant performances that he had out there for the Bulls. Who are some of your favorite short stint Chicago athletes?
So are we? Is it 3 years or less?
Let's go 3 years or less. Yeah.
You need to give us some time on this one.
All right.
Give me some examples.
I will say one of my favorite ones. He didn't even play a full season, but Nick Castellanos is one of my favorite
that's a good
short
one.
stint
I like it.
That's a good one.
Chicago athletes.
I like that.
I think a lot of Cub fans would agree with you. That's a good one. That's a good one. Trying to think. The Blackhawks. I mean, no, I'm trying to think during their run, they were all pretty. I mean, I guess Dustin Byfuglien didn't last long because of the salary cap hit, right?
That is true.
Okay, he's at the top of my list. I love Buff.
Yurko's a big Antoine Vermette fan.
Yeah, there you go. So yeah, that first championship team had a few guys because they had to break it up.
They had Versteeg. Versteeg came back.
But yeah, I would put Byfuglien at the top of the list. He was awesome.
I'll go in the time machine way back here.
I got one.
What do you got?
How about Josh McCown? Yeah. What do you mean? Hey, what do you mean?
I mean, I know Sylvie would strongly support you on that.
I mean, he had a nice little stretch.
Yeah, I guess. There's got to be other Bears because that lends itself to short stretches. You know, isn't there a running back out there last few years? Or are you going back? Tyler, who else do you have? Because we can't.
Well, here,
you're asking two guys who can't remember their names.
Exactly. Let me give you mine. Short-term experience in Chicago, which was very fruitful. One season, 1994, going way back, Chicago White Sox. It was strike shortened, but Julio Franco hitting cleanup behind Frank Thomas. I always loved his hitting stance, and then for him to come in and DH for the White Sox, he ended up hitting that season. He hit .319 back when batting average meant something, Waddle. Had a .406 on-base percentage, homered 20 times, had 98 RBIs in 112 games before.
How about Scotty Pods?
You know, another one, I guess this kind of goes with it's all basketball, but it's like one after another is all of the backup point guards that the Bulls had under Tibbs.
That Tibbs
so it was
unlocked.
like Nate Robinson, DJ Augustine,
John Lucas.
Like those guys were all super fun too.
Nate Robinson, did you say him?
Yeah, Nate Robinson.
There was one more, too, that was maybe the best of the bunch that I forget.
I mean, this is only a couple months, but Aroldis Chapman, he counts.
Yeah.
In terms of people who hated him?
Would Cubs fans really, like, he fits under, like, the qualifications of a short-term guy, but, like,
nobody liked it. I think Cubs fans were actually upset
They
about
don't win the World Series without him.
That is true.
They may not get there.
But he also probably is responsible for the most memorable portion of that game as well, giving up the home run, even though they won the game.
That was Madden's fault. He overused him. But anyway.
The other guard was C.J. Watson of that
C.J.
group.
Watson was
that's a good one.
Yeah. How long was Khalil Mack here?
He was only here, he got here in 18 and was out in 21. So, yeah, Khalil Mack was about 3 years.
I mean,
But that
wasn't
was
he,
somewhat.
was he
It was somewhat disappointing the way the Khalil
Right.
Mack
I kind of feel that way too.
went. It was great that first year, and then after that, it was.
He played 1, 2, 3, 4 years.
I mean, really, any of those bench guys under Thibodeau were very beloved in this town.
Nick Foles. I'm kidding. Yeah, those are some good names. I mean, I'm just sure there's many more we're not thinking of.
Yeah, my memory's not my. Especially after what I put myself through the last 2 weeks, my memory's not sharp.
And you need to remember 3-year stint for a guy.
Yeah, I mean, what would be would 3 years be the maximum?
I think so.
I mean,
Like,
do you
How
have it?
long was Rodman here?
Some people have said,
Was it
I've seen
4?
a couple tweets
Okay,
about
like
Rodman.
that
but
would be the number. That would be the best, would it not?
probably
if you
pretty
give
good.
me
Yeah.
4 years.
Well, I mean, I guess a bunch of those guys from both the first three-peat and the second three-peat were here short term.
Yeah, but who had more of an impact on a short-term
No.
basis than Rodman? I would say Rodman is at the top of that list.
Yeah, that's a pretty good one there. All right. Jesse floated this out in our pre-show meeting, and I think it's an interesting thing to consider. We've talked a lot about who are the potential Cubs trade pieces for if they were to make a move at the deadline, and if they were to ship off a big name, whether it's Cody Bellinger or someone else on the roster. But Jesse, you threw out the name Justin Steele. This is not a report by any stretch, but should the Cubs consider moving off of Justin Steele?
It is crazy on its surface, but where do they currently kind of maybe have a surplus, especially if you include Cade Horton coming up through the ranks and Ben
In the
Brown?
outfield, they do.
Surplus of good, though.
They got a lot of bodies in the outfield.
Here's my point. Let's start with the fact that they need a superstar, potential superstar. Okay, who on the current roster might get you that in return? Justin Steele's at the top of that list.
That's it. Yeah, he's the only guy.
Yeah, he really is. I mean, he's an established guy with years of control. So that's why I brought it up. I mean, they might trade a starting pitcher this July. Who knows? I don't think they'll trade Steele, but they need to find the next Chris Bryant type. And a guy like Steele would bring you back one, prospect-wise.
I just think it's so hard to deal proven commodities, like even more so than Crochet. Crochet's made how many starts? I wouldn't trade him.
Right.
I try to find a way to get him in the mix long term. But if you trade Justin Steele, you're going to be in the lookout for another Justin Steele.
Right. But if you believe Imanaga is for real and this is going to be who he is, and you still have Tyon and Cade Horton's going to be something, and Ben Brown's going to be something, Hayden Wesneski's, like, I don't know, you can convince yourself we need
I'd be more willing to ship Shota than I would Steele.
Let's pretend it is Chris Bryant 2013. He's in the minors. He's can't miss. He's second pick in the draft. He's all these things. And you don't have one of those big hitters coming up. So picture Chris Bryant. Not a Chris Bryant type, Chris Bryant. Now would you trade Justin Steele? See what I mean?
I know
Because
what you mean.
There's not
but
many can't miss, but Bryant was.
Right. I was going to say, so you're going to tell me the guy who was player of the year at the collegiate league, at the collegiate level, he was the minor league player of the year, and you can project that he's going to be the rookie of the year and the MVP
in 4 years. Right.
Like, I mean, okay, Jess, you sold me.
Okay.
Like, if you can guarantee me that, I'm trading.
Which you can never guarantee.
But you can't guarantee me that.
So, but my whole point though is they've got to find an MVP caliber player to put in the middle of that lineup. I think this year is underlining that because the variance is too great offensively. You were decent offensively last year, but to get to the next level, you need that star.
Outbid everyone for Juan Soto.
That would be nice. I don't think he leaves New York, and that could be the Mets or the Yankees. But you know what? You want to play in the deep end of the pool?
Yes.
It's time to do it.
There's no excuse for not being involved in that.
Yeah. Yep. You begged off
Take
on
the
it.
floaties off and get in the deep end.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Every now and again, you know what? You
yeah.
swallow a little water.
Right.
You know? And you got to grab the edge of the pool and you got to cough it up. It's not 100%, riding apart.
And think of all the stars that have signed in the last few years that they've bypassed. Aaron Judge was one. Aaron Judge almost signed with San Francisco. Trey Turner.
Yes.
Let's go back to Bryce Harper was 2019, but like
They chose
Ohtani,
Dansby Swanson over Correa.
Yeah. Yeah, and Trey Turner. I mean, there's best players at each position they've bypassed over and over again. And I think it's coming back to haunt them a little bit.
That music means we are going to have to get out of here soon for White Sox and Twins.
Tyler, Jeff, thank you very much. Tommy, thank you for letting me sit next to you. I appreciate it.
I invite you into this studio at any point you want to. You know how much we value you.
First right of refusal, so I appreciate it.
That is perfect. Am I going to see you the rest of the week?
There's a maybe on Thursday. Other than that, I'll talk to you from the ballpark. It's the best I can do.
Get that lip fixed, will you?
I know, it's kind of gross.
No, it's not. I feel bad for you.
I don't
know why. It was like purple earlier in the day, and now it's bright red.
Yeah.
What happened? Were you picking it?
I was just talking and drinking and picking, the whole thing.